I'm live. Please tell me if you can hear me because my mic just wasn't working. And so I decided to just use the mic on the camera and hoping that it's going to be okay. I am going to be making some really fun stuff tonight. My usual regular tacos, and I wanted to just show you guys how I make cheese shells, which is super easy and kind of simple, but a lot of people ask about them. And then we are going to make, let's see if I can show you this, my jalapeno poppers, which I've already gotten started because you don't need to watch me do all of the prep on that, but I'll show you one of them, how I do that. And then we're going to make strawberry popsicles. You can make them non-dairy, but we're going to make them regular dairy. And so let's get started. I took the weekend off from cooking, so I've been like itching to get back in here. And the first thing I want to show you, I started the jalapenos already, and this is the last one. You see all these seeds in here? I cut these and I leave the stems on. These are called just like little jalapeno poppers. And I've seen them in the supermarket a bazillion times, and I always pass by them because I just think they're just way too spicy. And I, quite frankly, like spicy stuff. But the spice is actually in the seeds. So you cut them in half. I leave the stem on because they're kind of pretty. And then you just take a spoon all the way at the top right there, just like that. All the way at the top, and you just scrape all the seeds out. Now, with the seeds out, it still is a little bit, it still is pretty spicy. However, it's kind of a nice thing, and these are great as leftovers. When I make a salad, I just put them cold from the fridge after I've put them away. I put them right on top of the salad, and they're actually really, really good. So I think you guys can hear me. I'm not sure, but I think if you can, maybe give me a thumbs up or something. The stuffing on the jalapeno poppers is super simple. It's my ever favorite cream cheese, just 3 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to use 1/4 cup of shredded white cheddar. You can use any kind of cheese you want, but I kind of like this sharp cheddar in this. So I'm just going to do 1/4 cup of that. You can do, so then I have 1/4 cup of scallions. Let's see if I can show you that. Let's see, can you see all this? I think you can. So we're going to do 1/4 cup of the scallions. We're actually just going to throw all those scallions in there. Like, why not? This recipe is not up on my website yet, but it's going to be very soon. I already took beautiful pictures of it, and that's sort of like one of my issues is like I got to get pretty pictures before I actually put it up on the site because I want to be able to show what the actual dish looks like. So this is just some cilantro. I'm going to put 1/4 cup of cilantro, chop that all up in there. And I had such an amazing week last week. I was on 3 podcasts, actually 2 podcasts, and one was a Facebook Live for a private group. And I'm super excited because they all went really well, and I will let you know as soon as those go live. Okay, so this recipe also calls for 2 cloves of garlic mashed. This is my little secret. I use this. It's just mashed garlic, and for the most part, it doesn't really have anything too horrendous in it because it's not just plain garlic. You can use the jar of garlic that comes already mashed, but I only use this a little bit, and it saves me a ton of time so that I don't have to peel the garlic and chop the garlic and then mash the garlic and whatever. So each clove is like a squirt. So I'm going to do 1 squirt, 2 squirts, and then here's a cute little hack. I was going to make these poppers where you wrap the bacon around them, but I just didn't really have the patience for that. So but I did want to show you something. Okay, so first I batch cook my bacon. So I just keep this in the freezer, and I'm going to chop up I don't know, like 2 slices. You know, it's not a whole lot. I'll just do a little bit, and I'll put this back into the freezer. But I wanted to show you my Butcher Box. So I got my quarterly shipment of Butcher Box. They give you free bacon. It's the coolest thing. I mean, I buy extra bacon, but this is uncured, no nitrates, no sugar, literally 4 ingredients: pork, water, salt, and celery powder. I love this stuff. And I get, once a quarter, I get delivery of all of my meats. I'd show you my freezer right now. It's so packed. I've got pork butt, I've got ribs, I've got steaks, and it's pretty economical. And I love just being able to have that in my freezer ready to go. So I'm just going to chop up this pre-batch cooked bacon. I did it like, I don't know, a week ago, and I just keep it in my freezer so that I always have it ready to toss in salads or to do with something like this. You know, I put it in casseroles. I don't have any soups that I put it in. But anyways, that's one of my couple little hacks that I have. I spent the weekend in Catalina Island. It is by far like paradise for me. And I just went by myself because I spent the whole weekend writing my cookbook. So that is well underway, and I'm hoping by the end of fall, it will be all done and ready for release before the holiday season. So I will definitely keep you posted on that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this. You see that? So all of my stuff in there, I'm just going to mash that all together and get it into like a little paste, which is kind of, you know, it's lovely because it's got the chunky green stuff in it and the bacon, and it makes it into like this cute little paste. I'll show you. You see it's in a little paste like that. And then what you do is you just take your jalapeno and you just put just enough inside each one. Now, if I didn't put the bacon inside this, if you wanted to be all fancy-dancy, you keep the bacon strips raw, and you fill them with this cheese mixture, and then you wrap the bacon around them. I've got my oven set to 400 degrees right now because I'm just going to pop these in here so that I can bake them really quick. They go for like, I don't know, like 15 minutes. I don't really have a set time yet. I kind of just watch them in the oven because everything is in here is already pretty much cooked, but you want the actual jalapeno to soften up and you know, do its thing in there so that when you eat it, it gets when you pull it out of the oven, it gets nice and it's kind of soft, and it is spicy. I like spicy, so you know, I don't mind that. And when you mix it with other stuff, it tends to kind of mellow out. And you know, this is actually something you could get the kids to help with. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you. So one of the podcasts that I was on this week is called Low-Carb Md. And I just love these guys because they're medical doctors and they're just trying to bring awareness to other doctors. And it is called Low-Carb Md Podcast. And I'll for sure give you guys the link to that. But one of the doctor's wives, I started following her on Instagram because she makes the most beautiful desserts, and you know, her photography is like spot on, and she's, you know, got these amazing things. And of course, you know, I'm sure it's really helpful to the doctor's own personal diet and life to have, you know, a wife at home that actually is able to make all these things. But here's the cool thing. She actually, let's see if you guys can hear me. Oh, yay, Fernanda! You can hear me. Hi, Fernanda. So she said if these are too spicy, and like I think kids probably be a little bit spicy for some kids, but you can use those mini peppers, like mini sweet peppers. They come in all like rainbow color, red, yellow, orange, and you can use that instead if these are too spicy for little kids. And they're kind of a fun thing, and the kids can actually help you fill these. So I had 6 jalapenos. I cut them in half, and I have exactly enough of my cream cheese mixture completely inside all of my little peppers, my little jalapeno guys. And so can you even imagine, like, if I put all this cheese stuff in here, where's my thing? If I put all this cheese in here, but then I wrapped these with bacon, can you see that? Then I wrap those with bacon, and then you bake them. So anyway, so these are going to go in the oven. I think I'll do them for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then we'll check them. Because we're going to get started on the strawberry popsicles now, and then we'll do the cheese shells, okay? So let me pop these in the oven, 400 I'll put it for like 10 minutes, just so we can check those babies out. Oh, here's a little trick. When you're working with jalapenos, your hands, like 2 hours later, you could wash them, and 2 hours later, you could touch your eye, and your eye would start burning. So I didn't do it this time, but you could coat your hands with just a little bit of like olive oil or just some, avocado oil or whatever, and that actually coats your hands so that, and you're like in your cuticles and stuff, so that the jalapeno stuff doesn't like get in there too much. So I'm just gonna wash and try my best not to stick my fingers in my eyes. Okay, so that's good. We'll get this out of the way. And okay, what are we doing now? We are doing strawberry popsicles. So my strawberry popsicles, they're made with all dairy. Actually, most of my popsicles, and I just posted a couple of the recipes on this really popular, like, moms that make healthy kids lunches. And there's a lot of kids that are dairy-free, and I would say 3/4 of my popsicles have cream in them, so they're not dairy-free. However, I do have, like, some pina colada popsicles and toasted coconut and, like, chocolate coconut. But you could use coconut in any of these recipes. I just got a regular pan here. I have got a cup of heavy cream. I just poured that in here right before I started because I wanted to get started. So there's your cup of cream. Let me grab this. Normally I use a popsicle mold, but you don't have to. And I'm going to show you a really simple, like, I don't want you to have to feel like you have to go out and buy popsicle molds. And my other hack, you don't even have to use real fresh strawberries. You can use frozen berries. So I just picked these up today. I let them sit out for a little bit, but you're going to do a cup of cream, a cup of frozen berries, which I let these already thaw out, so those are good to go. That's 1 cup. Those go right inside of there. I'm going to show you. Let's see if you can see this. Ah! Can you see that? There's my stuff. Okay, no, of course I didn't take care of this here, so I hope that, did we fix that? I think we did. Let's go with this. Yes. Okay, so I've got my strawberries and my cream in there. Now, I'm going to use my favorite, my Locanto monk fruit sweetener. Now remember, this is erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol, and it's mixed with monk fruit. So it doesn't have the cooling effect that just plain erythritol has. I'm going to turn that down a tad. I'm going to use a whisk, but you don't have to, for this part, you have to use a whisk for another part. But let me just get that kind of going. Use 1/3 of a cup of your monk fruit sweetener, and you do it over the heat so that the monk fruit sweetener kind of melts in and like helps with the granularness of because sugar alcohols, they don't dissolve. I mean, they dissolve like regular sugar, but please be my life guru. I would love to be your life guru. So the monk fruit sweetener, when it heats up, it does dissolve, but when it cools, sometimes it can crystallize in like regular desserts. In popsicles, it does not. So I kind of lucked out in that. I think I have like 8 to 12 recipes. There's only maybe 4 on the website, but I'm going to turn this up. I'm going to get this going. Cream, strawberries, Lakanto monk fruit sweetener. If you want to use just plain erythritol, you can. You cannot use just plain stevia, like liquid stevia, because you need the bulk of the sugar, of the granular sugar in here. So we're going to let that just sort of like simmer a little bit. Let me show you this. So you will not find strawberry extract in the supermarket. I'm really sorry. They should sell it everywhere. But online, you can buy like a bazillion different flavors that strawberry extract. You can use vanilla extract. That is totally fine. But you don't want to put this in until you turn the heat off because you don't want to burn. I'm sorry, not burn. You don't want to cook off the flavor. So we're going to wait on this. We're going to do a teaspoon of this. I've got my almond milk and I've got my xanthan gum. So I know that this is totally silly. If you've never heard of xanthan gum, I hadn't either. It sounded like some wackadoodle thing, but you'll see it on the back of a lot of products because it is a thickener that is it's made from vegetable fibers. And here's the trick with this: you only need a little bit. If you put in 1/4 teaspoon and then you don't feel like whatever you're doing is getting thick enough, so you keep adding more, you will end up with like glop. So be careful with this. Now here's the thing. The package that you only use a tiny bit. So I've had this same package of xanthan gum for probably like a year or two. And the package that it came in was not resealable. And it was like this plastic thing. And it was like getting all over my cupboards. So I just took a pickle jar and I washed it like a couple times. And so that's what I keep my xanthan gum in. So you're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of this. And my stuff is coming together